Hi guys, my name is Aisha and I'm going to be doing my final project on the film Rear Window, and the year it released was 1954, and the director was Alfred Hitchcock, and the people who starred in the film were James Stewart, Grace Kelly, Wendell Corey, Thelma Ritter, and Raymond Burr. So the summary of Rear Window was basically Jeffrey or Jeff was a character who is a photographer and who is confined to a wheelchair after fracturing his leg while filming a motor race in Rear Window. And James Stewart plays Jeffrey in the film Rear Window. And now he's recuperating in his Greenwich Village apartment with the help of his stunning model girlfriend, Lisa, Grace Kelly, who plays Lisa and is a visiting nurse with luscious blonde hair, and Jeff amuses himself by spying on his neighbors across the courtyard from his back window, bored by his immobility and armed with an arsenal of binoculars and telephoto SLR lenses. Jeff discovers that each tenant reflects a distinct disease of male-female interactions. Some are lovely and some oversexed. Jeff finds it's amusing at first to observe a newlywed woman wearing out his spouse in regular lovemaking and a lone bachelorette going dateless nights after night. But then there's Lars, who is played by Perry Mason's Raymond Burr, a hefty guy who's unhappily married to a nag. Jeff believes Lars has just snapped and murdered his wife, maybe dismembering her body in packing containers, which was found in the House 2008 citation. So the first scene that I chose it's showing you that Jeff is on the phone, and basically the first scene is a medium close up of Jeffrey when he discovers that the lights in Thorwald's apartments are turned off. A subsequent image of Thorwald's presumably deserted home confirms this. The camera then returns to the same medium close up of Jeffrey, who hurriedly answers a phone call when it rings, and showing that he believes that Thorwald has left his apartment. When there is no reaction on the other end of the line and the line goes dead, Jeffrey realizes the caller is not who he anticipated to be. Hitchcock uses a gradual zoom in on Stewart's face, concluding the scene in a close-up frame to show the risk of this slip-up, which discloses to Thorwald and he is truly being spied on. Jeffries is unaware of what he has just divulged until, after appearing perplexed for a minute, he peers over to the neighboring window, and as Stewart continues to communicate the character's terror, the camera begins to zoom. This narrowing of the frame together with the character's awakening serves to communicate the gravity of the error that just has occurred. The second scene that I chose was Jeffries goes to a check at his front door after hearing a disturbance in the corridor, which you could see he hears something from the corridor and he's peeping through what's going on. This is followed by an image of light seeping in under the door frame from the main character's point of view. This image is significant not just because it tells us the actor is looking at it, but also because it quietly signals to the audience that this entryway will play a crucial role in the action. This is the point at which the attacker will enter. If this shot had not been included in the film's final edit, the doorway would not have been set up long before Thorwald's entered, and the audience would not have an idea of the area in which the scenario would develop. Without this image, the scenario may have been to appear as though Jeffrey is simply too concerned about the sound of someone going through his building. The door shot, along with Jeffrey's dread, indicates that the character is not secure from whatever waits behind him. The third scene was we next return to a close-up of Jeffries, but this time from a high angle, and he slowly and elegantly glides toward the door in his wheelchair. We are reminded with the character's great disadvantage of being disabled when it comes time to battle, he's a salient. The high real point emphasizes Jeff's lack of authority in the upcoming conflict. The scene returns to an enterway, heightening the tension and anxiety. A mid-shot of Jeff in his wheelchair follows, emphasizing the character's infirmity once again. As Jeffries attempts to make his way across his flat, the camera is hoisted up and slanted down. The uncomfortable movement of the wheelchair about the room is shown in these following images, demonstrating that he is generally alone and helpless, without the presence of Lisa and Stella. Compare and contrast Rear Window and Rain Man. Well, Rain Man conveys a compelling message about the significance of understanding autism and how doing so may shift a neurotypical individual's viewpoint and make them one more compassionate in the process. On the other hand, Rear Window is a social commentary that challenges its viewers to evaluate their own behaviors, especially in society when sensitive information is at our fingertips. In the same way that Hitchcock's 1954 Rear Window, individuals welcome persuasive eyes to examine their lives. Socially today exhibits the same disinterest. Both films deal with social isolation. As you could see, Jeff is on a wheelchair and he cannot move, he's disabled, and which is commonly witnessed in the society today towards the disabled individuals. While both films deals with disability in Rear Window, the type of disability and physical handicap, while in Rain Man it is a mental handicap. In particular, Hitchcock appears to employ public voyeurism in Rear Window to ameliorate voyeurism by normalizing it. Unlike in Rain Man and Rear Window, there is an aspect of voyeurism is played out in opening credits. Effects on scenes on audience. Rear Window, given that the picture is about voyeurism, Hitchcock's method would be to push spectators out become voyeurs. Hitchcock successfully persuades and even manipulates his audience into believing and partaking in his cinematic experience. The filmmaker changed his audience from simple observers to active participants, and the voyeuristic aspects of Rear Window's main character by merely employing point of views, intelligent editing, and camera work. Hitchcock accentuates the isolation of characters by restricting them to their respective places. They are all here in their courtyard, yet they rarely connect in meaning ways. Even though Mrs. Thorwald is alive, Hitchcock separates her and Mr. Thorwald by framing them in different windows. And this picture I included was, it's funny, but it's cute at the same time. It's like a little teddy bear, which is representing, Jeffrey, who's in his house, stuck alone, and he's isolated in his home due to his disability. Reflection on the effects. The reflection from the film is positive, in my point of view. Rear Window is a social commentary that challenges its viewers to evaluate their own behaviors, especially in a society where sensitive information is at our fingertips. In the same way, the Hitchcock's 1954 individuals become perversive eyes to examine their lives. Society today exhibits the same disinterest. Conclusion. The thriller Rear Window by Alfred Hitchcock tackles the ethics and morals of voyeurism. From the start of the film, the character of L.B. Jeffries is shown to be interested in monitoring the lives of others, and he is frequently questioned by supporting characters about the morality of his own acts. And these are my references, which I used. The references that I used are these are from the Hack Library and what the professor provided us, and they're accredited, corrected references which I use in all of my slides. And I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation, and I hope you guys have a lovely week 11 and a good winter semester. And thank you so much for watching, and have a nice semester. Bye, guys.